Has the time not come, Prime Minister, to prescribe what is so obviously a terrorist organisation, and in doing so, not just do the right thing, but maybe mend some fences between this government and the incoming presidency of Donald Trump's, given that the whole of his cabinet have been so rude about him over the last few years?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see the honourable member making a rare appearance back here in Britain. He spent so much time in America recently, I was half expecting to see him.
At 2:47 yesterday afternoon, Westminster froze. Cameras whirred, papers rustled, and Nigel Farage spoke 4 words that detonated the chamber. Prime Minister, explain this. He held the document aloft like evidence at a trial. Not a rumour, not a briefing, a stamped Treasury memo, and in that instant, Labour's credibility with pensioners began to collapse. Before we roll the footage, just one thing. If you enjoy our work, drop a like and hit subscribe. Over 98% of you are watching without subscribing. Let's change that right now. It's free for you, but it fuels everything we do. Subscribed? Perfect. Now enjoy the video. The paper was titled Pension Reform Contingency Planning. Dry words, lethal meaning. Page after page laid out a plan Labour had sworn did not exist. Means testing the state pension from April 2026. A hard cut-off. Savings over £20,000. Cross the line and lose hundreds every month, the chamber murmured. Starmer glanced down, his face drained of colour. This was not a policy debate. This was exposure. Farage did not shout. He did not rant. He let the silence work. Every camera zoomed in. Starmer shuffled his notes. He cleared his throat. And for the first time since taking office, he looked unprepared. The memo was real, verified, signed off, approved internally weeks ago, scheduled quietly, deliberately for after Christmas, when voters are distracted, when outrage fades. Farage's team had confirmed it through 3 separate Treasury sources. This was not theatre. This was timing. Prime Minister's questions, maximum visibility, maximum damage. Starmer tried to pivot. He spoke of fiscal responsibility, of difficult choices, of Tory mismanagement. But Farage cut through the fog with surgical precision. Stop hiding behind the past, he said. Are you means testing pensions or not? The chamber leaned forward. This was the moment. Starmer did not deny it. He hesitated. Then he said it. Pensioners with substantial savings, he argued, did not require full state support. Substantial. £20,000. 2 decades of careful saving. A lifetime of restraint. The room erupted. Shouts from the opposition. Gasps from Labour's own benches. Stephen Flynn called it disgraceful. Ed Davey demanded a retraction. None came. Parliament TV captured every second. Clips were online within minutes. Millions watched. Millions heard the words that would haunt Labour for years. We must make difficult choices, Starmer said. Those with significant personal resources cannot expect full subsidy. Significant resources. He meant nurses, miners, postmen, teachers, people who saved a little just in case. The backlash was instant, merciless, worldwide. Within 90 minutes, No Means Test pensions was trending globally. Within 3 hours, constituency offices were inundated. Phones rang off hooks. Emails poured in. By nightfall, the first Labour MP broke ranks publicly. By morning, the revolt had a face. Margaret Foster, 71, Middlesbrougugh, 43 years as an NHS nurse. She saved £32,000. Not for luxury, for emergencies, for dignity. Under Labour's plan, she loses £180 a month, £2,160 a year. Her winter heating bill alone is £220 monthly. I can't eat properly and heat my home anymore, she said, tears streaking down her face. I did everything right. Dennis Wright, 68. Former coal miner from Durham. 24,000 saved from redundancy. 35 years underground. Lungs ruined. Back shattered. I breathe dust for this country, he said, struggling for air. And now they take the only security I have left. Janet Palmer, 73, retired teacher from Cornwall. She worked 2 jobs for 15 years, teaching by day, cleaning offices by night. She saved £28,000 to help her grandchildren someday. Under Labour's policy, that dream is gone. Keith Anderson, 70, former postman from Glasgow. Walked 15 miles a day for 38 years, knees destroyed, spine damaged. His £26,000 now marks him as too wealthy for support. These are not elites, they are Britain. And while they freeze, others are funded. Asylum seekers receive weekly allowances, housing, heating. Hotels cost taxpayers millions daily. Councillors vote themselves pay rises. MPs claim second homes. Chauffeurs idle outside Westminster. The contrast is obscene. Trade unions felt the fury immediately. Unite received 14,000 complaints in 48 hours. Retired members threatened to tear up cards held for decades. I bled for this party, wrote one 76-year-old former steelworker, and they stabbed us in the back. GMB held emergency meetings. Support was withdrawn. Len McCluskey called it a betrayal that would haunt Labour for a generation. Then something happened that nobody predicted. 48 hours after Farage's ambush, the King spoke. Not in Parliament, not directly. At a veterans' charity event in Edinburgh, 200 former service members watched as Charles chose his words carefully, then delivered a thunderbolt. Those who serve this nation deserve security, he said, dignity, and the pension promises made to them honoured in full. The applause lasted 2 minutes. Veterans stood. Some wept. Constitutional experts understood immediately this was a rebuke. Carefully framed, but unmistakable. Palace insiders say the King was furious. Reports of pensioners cutting pills, skipping meals.
This is the first
One veteran,
test,
Thomas Hutchinson, 76, had lost his home.
every...
Council tax rises exceeded his fixed income. He served in Northern Ireland, in the Falklands. Charles reportedly wept after meeting him. The speech was personal. Drafted by the King himself, reviewed by constitutional lawyers, stripped of overt politics, loaded with moral force. The message was clear. There are lines you do not cross. Not with the elderly, not with promises. The optics were devastating. A monarch defending pensioners, a Labour Prime Minister attacking them. Tradition stood with those who built Britain. Labour stood against those who saved. Historians called it the most pointed royal intervention in decades. Markets reacted fast. The pound fell sharply. The FTSE slid. Investors spoke of a confidence crisis. Pension funds shifted assets abroad. Banks warned of instability. Goldman Sachs flagged political risk. Unilever paused investment. BP looked to the United States. Britain felt suddenly unpredictable. Opposition leaders seized the moment. Kemi Badenoch accused Labour of lying, of losing its moral mandate. Calls for no confidence grew louder. Social media exploded. TikTok filled with videos of grandchildren crying for grandparents. One clip showed a 19-year-old student visiting her nan wearing gloves indoors to save heating. 12 million views overnight. Images spread. Pensioners holding handwritten signs. I worked 45 years for this. An 81-year-old D-Day veteran stood with medals pinned, reading, I fought for this country, Labour fights against us. Facebook groups ballooned, hundreds of thousands joined. Age UK issued a blistering statement, morally reprehensible, economically illiterate. Polling confirmed the collapse. 79% of over 60s opposed means testing. Among those nearing retirement, opposition hit 71. Labour's support among pensioners halved overnight. Reform surged. In strongholds once unthinkable, elderly voters defected en masse. Inside Labour headquarters, panic reigned. WhatsApp groups leaked. Ministers blamed each other. This is Chernobyl, one wrote. Political malpractice, said another. Liz Kendall was overheard asking how she was meant to defend stripping pensions from nurses. 3 junior ministers resigned, letters leaked before they were read. Rachel Reeves vanished from view. Her last appearance went viral for all the wrong reasons.
But
a former councillor confronted her. You're taking my pension because I saved £23,000. Reeves spoke of sustainability. The woman spoke of loyalty, decades of it. Behind closed doors, shouting matches erupted. Advisors warned, data was ignored. I don't care about polls, Starmer reportedly snapped. This is about responsibility. But responsibility now sounded hollow. Then came the final blow. Leaked Treasury projections showed Labour knew exactly what would happen. They predicted electoral disaster, 60 to 80 seats lost. Trust with older voters permanently damaged. The calculation was explicit. Pensioners were acceptable casualties. The documents revealed more. While cutting pensions, Labour approved hundreds of millions in foreign aid increases and overseas climate projects. Advisors warned the optics were catastrophic. Starmer overruled them. He chose the threshold, he chose the risk. Farage moved fast, touring Britain, sitting in living rooms, holding pay slips from the 70s, looking pensioners in the eye. Videos went viral, membership soared, donations poured in. Small sums, big meaning. One widow sent £15. This is my food money, she wrote. Farage read it aloud and wept. Reform UK surged in polls. Among pensioners, they led. Constituencies once safe turned volatile. Emergency motions were tabled. Protests planned. Thousands expected. Britain braced for images of elderly marching against their government. International media watched closely. French papers called it pension suicide. German commentators warned of social fracture. Wall Street flagged unpredictability. This was no longer domestic. It was systemic. And still Starmer stood firm, issuing statements about fairness. Difficult choices, but fairness rang empty. Because fairness does not punish saving. Fairness does not mean freezing nurses while chauffeurs idle. Fairness does not break promises. This is about identity now. A party founded to protect workers stands accused of punishing them in retirement. Solidarity fractured, trust shattered. Pensions are promises, contracts break them, and the consequences echo. Tomorrow, Parliament reconvenes. Cameras will roll, Britain will watch, not a debate, a verdict on leadership, on loyalty, on whether a government still understands its people. So ask yourself this. Does Starmer survive this betrayal, or is his government finished? Will pensioners ever forgive Labour, or has an entire generation been lost? And could Nigel Farage, by defending the elderly, rewrite Britain's political future? If this story shocked you, share it. If it angered you, speak out. And if you want to know what Labour ministers said behind closed doors when they thought nobody was listening, hit subscribe now, because what comes next could change everything.